A moment here to introduce everyone as to why. Sarah, Lisa, and Katie, can you come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? These are the reason I'm on the school board.
Oh, that's really cute.
Well, my line was to say everyone stand up, but that's already been taken care of.
Place your right hand over your heart.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Break protocol until you guys go home and do your homework.
I think one of them's in college.
She has homework, trust me. All right, adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Mr.
Dr.
President.
Manning,
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
right.
President.
I jumped that.
you jumped the gun there.
Mr. President, we have been advised that the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder County Clerk has indicated that certification of the November 6, 2018 election results will occur on December 6, 2018. Presently, the board's annual organizational meeting was scheduled for the board meeting of December 3rd, 2018. In light of the certification occurring after that meeting, it is recommended the Board of Education add to its agenda for this evening the following motion. It is moved that the Board of Education meeting of December 3rd, 2018 be adjourned in its entirety to December 10th, 2018, with open session commencing at 7 p.m. As a result, no Board of Education meeting will take place on December 3rd, 2018. If approved, then the district will post notice on the website as well as at the district boardroom of the adjournment to December 10, 2018, regular meeting to commence at 7 p.m. The need to add this item to the agenda has arisen since the agenda was posted for tonight's meeting. In order to accomplish this, the board will first need to take action to add the item to the agenda, and then following approval of the addition to the agenda, then there will be a separate motion that the meeting of December 3rd, 2018 be adjourned in its entirety to December 10, 2018. Should the board approve this motion, it will be discussion action 10.3.
Okay, do I have a motion for this action?
So moved.
A second. All those in favor of this change? Aye.
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 Seeing that was unanimous, so we now have 10.3 on our agenda. Okay. So, do we adopt the agenda with the change? Yes.
Motion to adopt the agenda with the change.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Any students in the room, this is how government works, so you understand. You have to do all these different things. So, moving on to the report of closed session. I have a readout, one moment. In closed session, it was approved that the settlement agreement dated November 8, 2018 between Torrance Unified School District and Thomas Snyder be ratified by the Board of Education. It was unanimous, 5-0. Other than that, nothing out of closed session. Moving on to introduction of classified directors. Kathleen Cole for Nutritional Services. We are happy to congratulate Kathleen Cole, who is being approved tonight. Come on up, stand at the podium. That way we know who we're talking to. Who's being approved tonight as Director of Nutritional Services. She began her service in the district on February 13, 2018 as an Assistant Director of Nutrition Services. Kathleen previously served as a chiropractic assistant nutrition counselor at Back to Life Chiropractic in Santa Ana, California, as a registered dietitian in the Center for Discovery in Los Alamitos, California, and as a clinical dietitian too, and diabetes educator and nutritional counselor at the Presbyterian Intercommunity Hospital Health in Whittier, California. Kathleen receives her Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics in 2013 from California State University, Long Beach. We'd like to welcome you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I
I just want to quickly say thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to feeding the children and providing high-quality meals for our students. So thank you so much.
I have one question. How many In-N-Out burgers have you eaten in your life?
That's a secret. It's all about balance and moderation.
Ian Kempton, Director of Facility Operations. We'd also like to congratulate Ian Kempton, who currently serves as our Director of Facility Operations. Ian began his service in the district in September 26, 2011, as a plumber. He later served as a supervisor in plumbing and maintenance and a manager of facility operations. Ian previously owned his own business, Progressive Plumbing and Drain Incorporated, from December 2005 through August 2011. He also served in the United States Navy from June 1993 through June 1997 as a damage controlman. We'd like to welcome Ian.
Thank you, and I want to thank everybody for this great opportunity, and I really look forward to serving the kids here in the district and also working well with everybody in M&O and making the schools a better place for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. All right, I do not see, oh, I do too see the Ed Foundation here. Hello, Denise.
Thank you all for having us this evening. We're so excited. November is Torrance Education Foundation Month, and so we're running our membership campaign. And we're excited to announce that Robinson Helicopter will match the first $25,000 in membership fees that come in. So please become a member. You will be supporting the students of Torrance Unified. We're also very excited to announce that our preliminary numbers for the Sketcher Walk was 2,483. That's preliminary because we're still waiting on the mail-ins and the walk-ins. So I think we may hit our $2,500 goal for our 25th anniversary. So what does that mean? That means approximately $75,000 plus dollars will go back to our teams and clubs of Torrance Unified School District students, for our students. We are currently distributing the funds to all teams and clubs that have submitted their rosters, so if you haven't done it, please do so as soon as possible. We really want to thank all of the principals, the school sites, the parents, the teachers, the ambassadors for really supporting and undergoing this so that these funds can come back to help our students. A huge shout out to Edna Schumacher, Maggie Mayberry, Andrea Price, the teachers, parents, students of Hickory Elementary. They alone brought in 600 walkers, so congratulations to them. Yes, that's fantastic.
3/4 of their population.
Yes. Also, we'd like to thank Sunrider for hosting our STEM grant reception. What does that mean? We had 61 awardees in the amount of $50,000, and all of those grants are going to effectively come back to programs to our students here in the school district. Our funds have been sent over to TUSD, so all awardees may start submissions for their grants. We're very excited about that. We have a new partnership. We're in a new partnership with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we're going to be participating with a new opportunity for Torrance kids. The Dodgers are offering camps for both softball and baseball, and at that camp, they'll be coached by the coaches of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they'll get to meet the farm players, the minor league players, that weekend as well. They'll get to tour places that are not open to the public, as well as have the baseball camp. And with every registration, they'll receive a $50 discount when you use our TEF for Kids code to register. An additional $50 will come back to the foundation. So again, we can provide more programs and things for our school district. Where the SBA classes, currently we have hosted some college preparation application classes, and we have a few more left, so if you're still interested, you can go onto our website and register for those. We're very excited to announce that mid-January our high school registration will open, and early February we'll be opening registration for the summer for elementary and middle school. We also have the Jean Drevno Scholarship Event, which is going to be at the Comedy Magic Club on November 29th. We still have tickets available. You can purchase them through Mrs. Fury, Robin Comer, or go onto our website. With that, I thank you for the opportunity to share the wonderful things, and we appreciate the entire community for their support and all that they do for our kids of Torrance. Good evening.
Thank you. Annette? Torrance Council of PTAs.
Well, good evening, whatever it is. It's been a long, long day. It's been a long everything. Anyhow, so thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I want to first of all congratulate and thank our friends, the Torrance Ed Foundation. I think with the work that they're doing here in Torrance is amazing. And they always forget to mention this, but you can join as a member at any price. Like, you don't have to, pledge $5 million. You could join for $5. I'm sure they'd appreciate $5 million, but I'm just saying. So community members, please join the PTA. Please also join TEF. Okay, so moving on. As we move into the season of giving, I'm really excited to talk about a partnership we have. Coming up on December 2nd, the Destination Art Studios is hosting a holiday bazaar. A former counselor at North High, Christine McGinnis, is organizing this and basically calling together a bunch of vendors, Sensi, Princess House, those kinds of cool little vendors. And they're part of the proceeds and the donations that they're collecting actually on site will be donated to the Torrance Council of PTA's Project Hope homeless and foster youth program. So that's really, really exciting. We have a flyer for that on our website, torrancecouncilptas.org. So that's really exciting. I really appreciate the community's support. And then coming up soon, shortly, I think in a few weeks, we'll have our annual donation drive we collaborate with the Torrance Fire and Police Department and collect toys, new unwrapped toys, and they give those and distribute those pretty widely. So, of course, we will take any toys you guys give us and make sure that they make it to our Torrance Fire and Police Departments. We're really excited to support that. That's an annual thing. And we also put together these really huge gift baskets, each of our units, and then we raffle them off, and all the money that's collected goes toward our college scholarship fund, so that's very cool. And then this year, we've combined our foster youth and homeless program under one umbrella, the Project Hope. And so we'll be collecting gift cards of any denomination for gas, groceries, Target, Walmart, in addition to toiletries, feminine hygiene products, diapers, pull-ups, and the like. So that's a year-long endeavor, but we, of course, know that, this time of year seems to be really, people feel more generous. And then last but not least, we're talking preliminarily internally about how we can maybe support some of the communities affected by the wildfires. A lot of families, children displaced. It's a heartbreak, and to know what's happened up in Northern California, complete town decimated, is just horrible. So we'll continue doing our best work to be supportive of our communities here and abroad. So that's the long and short of it, I think. Thank you so much for your time.
8.4, introduction of student representative to the board. Dr. Dugal.
Thank you. I am honored to welcome Tyler Lem back again for a second year. He, as stated before, he has managed a strike of balance between academic rigor, activities, and athletics, and it's rare for many of our high school students. Academically, Tyler has an almost exclusively honors and AP placement coursework since his freshman year, and has maintained an impressive weighted GPA of 4.4390 amidst his athletic commitments as well as leadership responsibilities. Outside of leadership, because that's not enough, Tyler has earned his Eagle Scout Award, has served on Torrance Youth Council, is a member of Math, Kiwanis, and the Filipino Club. Additionally, Tyler is also a member of cross country and track. Within leadership, Tyler has managed a remarkable feat to become ASB president for 2 years in a row. There's only one other time in South High history that documents a student sitting as ASB president for 2 years. Given this, what is apparent is the South High student body has tremendous faith in his abilities, and he's demonstrated a commitment to serve his school. Prior to being ASB president, Tyler served as the class president both his freshman and sophomore year, giving him a solid foundation for his current position. This is truly a quality of a leader, and it will serve him well as he continues his pursuit of becoming a doctor. Thank you, Tyler.
I have to ask, what was your Eagle Scout project?
So I chose to do it at Riviera Elementary School. I did it my freshman year of high school. I chose to rebuild the entire garden in the field. I checked it now. It doesn't really look as good as when I left it. But
I went to the dedication of that. It was like 3 years ago?
yeah.
I went to the
Yeah.
dedication of that.
Oh yeah, in the cafeteria. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Thank you.
There are very few Eagle Scouts. You should be very proud of that.
Thank you very much.
I punted before I got to that point, so. The good news student presentation. Oh, you got a report to give. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oops.
no worries. So at South High, currently we just finished some projects, including we had a Japanese school visit from Japan. We toured the school for them. They kind of shared their culture with us. We also just completed November special projects. Today we gave out grams to every student at South High, just telling them that they're appreciated, and that because we know they're all stressed out already through the school. We're trying to encourage them to keep going and enjoy their high school. We're also going to start giving out gratitude grams, so if they want to send any nice notes to each other, we're going to start doing that next week. Currently, we have a canned food drive going on that we do every year. We started about a little over a month ago, and can collecting ends this Friday. After we collect it, our activities director, Mrs. Hildreth, will choose various local shelters to donate them to. This week we also have class comp, which is on Friday, which is an hour dedicated to just a lot of fun for the students. We do it 3 times a year. Everyone dresses in their class colors, and we do competition of games in the gym. And what else? We are going to do Head Start, which is what we do every year as well. It's we invite preschool to kindergartners to our school for one day at the end of December, school weeks. We create kind of a Christmas day for them and make sure they have a fun time. So, yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know this, you've done this before. If you've got anything to say, speak up during our meeting, please.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, now moving on to good news student presentations from Arnold Elementary and Richardson Middle School.
I'm going to start this one off this time.
Just to confuse me.
I'd like to introduce 7th grade student Kyle Gablesberg. He is the student body president at Richardson Middle School. Come on up. And in the audience, we also have site principal, Mr. Ian Drummond.
Hello, my name is Kyle. As she said, I'm the student body president at Richardson Middle School. Our fabulous principal, Mr. Drummond, has asked me to talk about what activities have taken place at Richardson and what we're currently planning. So from September 24th to 28th, we had Start with Hello Week. This week was full of events and activities that were meant to help kids meet others like them and start new friendships. During this week, one of the activities that we had was a game where kids randomly got paired up with others and tried to find things in common. The pair with the most things in common out of the 5 pairs won a prize. On October 22nd to the 26th, we had a Red Ribbon Week. During Red Ribbon Week, we had daily activities, and on one of the days, there was a big banner where you could pledge your name to reject drugs. We also had class competitions to see which homeroom had the highest percentage of participation during our activities. Overall, Red Ribbon Week was a huge success, and in my opinion, it helped change some kids' outlook on drugs. On Halloween, we held a costume contest outside of our brand new gym that was optional and open to all students and staff. We got about 75 participants, and we had a big crowd of spectators. Sorry. This morning, we had 50 students from Richardson participate in the AMC, the American Math Competition, which is a nationwide competition. And we have lots of clubs at Richardson. We have the Math Club that meets weekly, and this is our first year with a Gay Straight Alliance Club. In this club, we meet to discuss LGBT issues, and we work to make our school free of hate, discrimination, and intolerance. We also have a yearbook club, a girls' engineering club, a yearbook club, a Jane Austen Society, which is a club that celebrates all the things that Jane Austen did in her lifetime. We have a jazz band, a drum line, and a running club. So as you can tell, we have a multitude of student participation at Richardson. Currently, our leadership class is hard at work planning for upcoming events. Right now, we're working with Adopt a Family, which is a charity that works to get nearby families in need presents over the holidays. We're also planning a winter dance on December 14th. The theme of the dance is a California Christmas. And at past dances, our participation has been about 150 to 200 students. And those two events that we're planning currently are our class's main focus. But when we get back from winter break, we're going to start planning more spirit weeks and events for students to enjoy. Thank you for your time.
Next, I'd like to call up one of our student leaders from Arnold Elementary, Jasper Ho. Please come on up. Let's give him a round of applause. Also joining us in the audience is the principal of Arnold Elementary, Mrs. Justine Lang.
Hi, my name is Jasper Ho, and I am the Student Council President of Arnold Elementary. Our Student Council has been planning many fun things this year. Student Council has been trying to focus on the PBIS expectations of being respectful, responsible, safe, and using our best effort. For instance, our school is collecting bottle caps to make a bench we are planning to make called the Buddy Bench. We need 400 pounds of bottle caps to make this bench. We plan to send all these bottle caps to a company that will melt down all the caps to build our Buddy Benches. Our goal is to make 2 benches, which is 800 pounds of caps. One for the kindergarten yard and one for the big playground. This Buddy Bench is for the kids that don't have something to do during recess or the kids who don't have friends. That's kind of sad. When kids see someone sitting on the bench, they could go over and ask them, "Hey, do you want to play with me?" Or they could just talk with them. Our school also raised money last month by selling spirit sticks in cards that we call boograms. We sold the boograms for $1 each, and they sold out fast. We also plan on having another angel tree. During our angel tree drive, we collect spare change, and our student council will buy gifts for the children in need. As you could see, our student council is busy planning activities, fun activities, to keep our students respectful, responsible, safe, and to use our best effort. Thank you.
Are they still trying to collect bottle caps?
I would assume so.
Okay, well, the Lee household goes through some bottle caps. Well, not me, it's the kids. Yes.
As you said, melted down.
Yes.
And I was wondering how much he weighs against 400 pounds. Be a lot
Probably a
of little
couple of
kids
weeks
like
at my house.
Okay. What we traditionally do here is let all the guys who presented go home and do homework. So anybody wants to run, including you guys, you new directors, you got a new job, you got to go home and get ready for it. So if you guys want to bolt, this is your chance. If you want to
Or you
stay,
can stay around.
we have, you need
We
to
don't
understand,
hold
be
it against
prepared. We have the local indicators information presentation is next, so that's some exciting stuff.
And, it's Katie's presentation, so there's ought to be 48 slides? No.
my homework.
I have never given you 48 slides.
42 and a half.
Your predecessor has. 12's within my ADD ability, yes.
That's barely on my edge. All right. We're all settled back down. Let's moving on to 8.6. Moving on to 8.6.
I have a white shirt on, you can do it off my shirt.
That's critical for a slide presentation.
But while they're doing that, I'm going to start because it's actually the Educational Services team that is doing the presentation tonight. I'm just doing the introduction.
For skills, you need him.
So I'll just start with the introduction. As you know, the local control funding formula was established in the 2013-14 school year, and with that, we did our first local control and accountability plan. It took a number of years, though, for the state to actually design and develop the accountability part of the local control and accountability plan. Last year, in fact, last July, you were given your first local indicator presentation with very new local indicators that were part of the state accountability system. And then last January, our first state dashboard accountability presentation. The state has altered, as we knew they would, the local indicators. You're going to be hearing about 5 local indicators this evening, including basic services for students, the implementation of Common Core state standards, parent engagement, student engagement, and the new local indicator this year, which is equity and access for all students. They've changed the timeline. This is coming this evening for it to get added into our dashboard this week for the release of all accountability measures on the dashboard slated for the first week in December. So we're anticipating, in addition to the local indicators tonight, that in January, the board will be presented with the academic indicators in early 2019. With that, we have Dr. Dougal, Dr. Kim, Dr. Chang, Mr. Egan, and Dr. Gutierrez, who are presenting each of the local indicators this evening.
Got it. Okay. Good evening. So the district's induction program and our human resources department together work on refining the systemic approaches to teacher recruitment, development, and support. So it's a coordinated project. As you can see, we, a year ago in 2017, had 99.9% of our teachers placed at that point. We were just short 5 teachers at that time. On a side note, we currently have 100% of our teachers in place. The induction program works closely with our local colleges to allow for that smooth transition for our teachers, and then ongoing, our professional learning continues for them beyond their induction years. Access, we have 100% access to all of the aligned instructional materials for our students throughout the district K-12. In our safe and clean functional schools survey, as we do the analysis of our schools, we have been continuously improving, as our bonds have certainly supported us in being able to increase the facilities that need updating as well as improvements. So we are looking forward to even more data and more information and more specific information next year as we continue to do the work this year and beyond. And now Mr. Egan will be presenting the update for Priority 2.
Thank you. Good evening. So Priority 2 is how we're monitoring our implementation of state academic standards. And so for this priority, we have a couple of options on how we can present this on the dashboard. We've chosen the narrative option so we can provide some explanation as to how we go about monitoring this kind of work in our district. So this is primarily monitored through the PLC process and basically through teacher feedback and leadership team, RTI, site administrator feedback. We're better able to gauge the progress at each school and provide the appropriate support to meet PLC team and teacher needs with professional development and ongoing instructional coaching and support. All workshops and professional development conclude with teachers being asked to complete a survey that basically gauges the level of impact on their teaching for that particular session that they participated in. And so we use that to kind of design what we would do with future sessions, but also to kind of generate whether or not we see a connection through their perspective on how it's going to impact their teaching. Since the PLC process is based on designing effective learning experiences with an emphasis on every student and all the standards, all of our professional development is geared towards supporting that same process. So we track our measurement, our various measurements through that manner. So thank you, and I'm now going to turn it over to Dr. Dugal for priority 3.
So this next local indicator is fairly new to us. We did not talk about this last year. It was something that was added on. And so this is in regards to a broad access to course curriculum. And the local indicators that we would be using would be AP honors courses enrollment, AP exam pass rate, the A through G requirements, as well as our new college career indicator. And so ironically, we had started looking at this data last year already and noticed that there's a significant difference between male and female students in the A through G completion rate. And what some of the things that we have learned through the counselors as well as our site administrators looking at that data is students have access, but it's also looking at how they're passing the courses and if they're passing with a C or better. And most importantly, students taking a third year of math and completing their foreign language requirements. And so we are taking a closer look at that data.
One moment, Mrs. Reagan has a question.
You alluded to the difference in gender and that there is a large one. Do you want to tell us what that is?
So it's about a 21% difference with female students completing, having a higher percentage of completion.
Of passage. Of the A through G requirements.
And so there was a couple things that went along with that. Like I said, one of them is the course, the grades the students were earning in the course. And so if you've noticed in the last 3 or 4 years, we've really grown our credit recovery program, and that was for students that had failed. But we have to now capture also those students that have a D in those A through G courses and give them the opportunity to make sure that that course that they took will get them A through G credit, because it needs to be a C or better. And then as we are offering multiple pathways, whether it's CTE or different programs, we've realized that students are taking, they might not sign up for an additional foreign language class or that third year of math because they have a different interest. And so we want to make sure students are educated in terms of what that A through G completion means. It's the opportunity to be able to apply to college, not that you must go. And finally, we want to ensure that students do have access to these honors and AP courses at the earliest stage possible. So AP English shouldn't be their first AP class or honors course. We hope that students starting in 9th grade have the opportunity to enroll in as many honors classes as they would like to through our open access policy.
Mrs. Reagan.
Yeah, one further question. Since Dr. Crumpy mentioned that the new indicator is equity and access, this is just a discrete category separate from or will be really related to that measure?
So as we're learning, the local control part of the indicators are changes each year. A lot of it had to do with the federal passage of ESSA, of California's plan. Not ESSA, but the California component of it. And each year we anticipate having some nuance shifts in this. So I like last year, we noticed some very simple indicators and questions that we had to write to. They kept the same indicators, but we're noticing a quite more substantive questions that we have to answer. We're anticipating the same for this. So what we think will happen is they will take a look at what our responses are, and if they're not up to par with statewide with what they're expecting from us, then they will tweak the local indicator and ask for more information.
Our next area is school climate. Specifically, the topics of school safety and school connectedness are part of school climate. Prior student and staff surveys have occurred over the years. When we were deciding on which survey and metric to use for school climate, Ed Services looked at 10 different surveys. We chose the PBAS School Climate Survey Suite for 5th, 7th, and 10th graders to complete. Last fall, those 5th, 7th, and 10th graders completed the survey, and overall, there was a 76% positive response rate to the questions on the survey. The survey on the questions were simple and innocuous. They included questions or statements such as, I like school, I feel safe at school, there's an adult at school I can talk to if I need help. The 76% overall positive response rate is broken down. 5th graders gave a 79% positive response rate, middle school 7th graders 79%, and high school 10th graders 72%. Next is Dr. Gutierrez.
Okay. Sorry. I'm a bit shorter than everyone. All right, our last indicator addresses parent engagement. TUSD has chosen to evaluate parent engagement through a local measure, which includes that same narrative response that was discussed for another one. And this measure includes participation in specific events and district-wide and school site committees and events, also the use of translations, and also participation in targeted parent activities for at-risk groups. We've also collected attendance data from a variety of district and school site meetings and events. As you can see, our data indicates that our average district meeting attendance is about just under 24 parents at a district meeting. District event attendance was just over 300 parents at specific events similar to the Wellness Fair or DelMat Conference or the GATE Conference. And school site, the average school site attendance meeting attendance was about 12 parents. This past school year, we've expanded data collection to also gather additional feedback from various stakeholders. This table shows you data collected from school sites regarding parent engagement, such as number of parent events that they may have hosted, number of school volunteers, or number of PTA members. Additionally, we surveyed advisory committee members regarding their participation. So just from those parents that we surveyed, 73% of parents indicated that they felt that they were contributing to the committee that they were a part of. And finally, we also gathered information from parents through the online registration system that we used this year. And the questions were quite simple and short, but it was regarding their preferred method of communication and also the frequency of communication. And parents indicated that they preferred monthly communication and that they preferred it via email. So we hope that that provides us some feedback so that we can monitor our progress throughout the school years moving forward. Thank you.
I didn't catch who was first. Mrs. Reagans.
So in looking at these numbers.
Yes.
And knowing the numbers of parents in the district, is there any interpretation of these numbers? It's fairly low numbers represented here.
Well, I think it was also an average, so we have to keep in mind that it kind of fluctuates between our much smaller schools and our much larger schools, so it's hard to say. So district-wide, at our district meetings, those events, we do not invite, obviously, large groups to the district meetings. So we have average, that's about 23. So when we also have school site meetings, we consider school site council. Those are usually, small groups where there's specific parents that are chosen. So I think some of it is not necessarily an indication of not wanting to participate because school site council members are usually elected or they're chosen at the school site, so they're smaller groups. So I wouldn't say that they're quite an indicator of not participation at the school site. The events we hope to improve. Obviously, the wellness fair, we hope to improve numbers as we move along through the school years. Same with the GATE conference. We've seen a lot of participation in those events, and the Delmuck conference has made different adjustments throughout the school year to improve making sure that we can address parents in the best way that we can.
Mrs. Deutsch?
I have a couple questions. The first one has to do with the areas of your parent involvement. Is it more, is that a cluster, or are you pretty much engaging all of the district?
Well, it depends on some of our numbers here. So some of the numbers do represent district-wide events, and our new feedback that we collected from principals, it was collected from all principals. So we collected from all sides of the district to get an idea of what types of events they were hosting at their school site, how many of them were tied to instruction, so that we can get an idea district-wide as to what events they're holding.
Thank you. And one last question. When you do your communications, which is they're preferring email?
Yes.
Do you do it in multiple languages?
Yes, so we do provide, usually we provide in those three basic languages that are required in the district. So we work with Tammy Kahn and also the language assessment to make sure that we're providing the translations that are required.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So in conclusion, with tonight's presentation, Mr. Egan will go as our dashboard accountability person, and we'll go in tomorrow morning or the next day and change our official dashboard with these local indicators and say that they are met. And they're met by doing this board presentation and discussing these local indicators. So when the dashboard goes live in December, then this is a part of the official Torrance Unified School District dashboard with these local indicators met. And then there are longer explanations to their presentation tonight that are in summary form. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Reagans?
With the expectation then that once it's part of the dashboard, that there will be room for improvement or change or alteration, or once you're met, and that's it?
No, they're met annually, and we take those results, like, for example, as you heard Dr. Dougal talk about, depending on the local indicator, we indicate what our next steps are and our needs are and kind of call ourselves out for things that we want to work on. We are taking it a little slow in some of them because we don't want to initiate a large-scale survey like for parent involvement and then have them come out and tell us that we have to use a specific instrument, having already gotten people used to an instrument. Things that we're kind of expecting that will come down the line. So we're trying to get a good get a grasp of what our parent groups are telling us for now.
Are there any further questions? All right. I think all those people who left, they missed out on that. Moving on to oral communications. The Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to discuss district business in an orderly manner for the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond more directly. The board policies require that public presentation of the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers to non-agenda items. They address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Time allotted for such presentations is limited to 3 minutes. Total time allotted for public input on non-agenda items is limited to 30 minutes. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. When addressing the board, the speakers are requested to state their name, address the president from the podium, and adhere to the applicable time limits. Complaints against employees or students will normally be heard in closed session, and the district's complaint procedure should be followed before discussion with the board. The board may remove disruptive individuals and order the room cleared if necessary. Any person who willfully disturbs a public school meeting is guilty of a misdemeanor, Education Code 32210. And I received a card from Deb. This is for a specific agenda item, but I don't have the agenda item.
15.2.
Oh, there it is. Ah, okay, so that's not for this. There are no yellow cards? I'm used to color, guys. This is pink, I'm looking for yellow and yellow cards. So there are no speakers? Okay. Discussion action items. Instructions to the public. Speakers wishing to address the board on agenda topics are permitted 3 minutes per topic. Total time granted for public input shall be limited to 30 minutes per topic. The board policies require the public presentation of the board comply with certain procedures, including items 2-4 listed in oral communications above. 10.2, nominations for California Board Association, CSB Delegate Assembly.
Crickets again.
Don Lee. Sorry.
Mrs. Reagan, she's the senior member.
I can't do it this year.
We've survived pretty well without having a delegate for years. Mark, weren't you the last one we had?
I was the last one.
And you lived to you survived.
All right. Moving on to 10, moving on to the added 10.3, Dr. Mannon.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is moved that the Board of Education meeting of December 3rd, 2018 be adjourned in its entirety to December 10th, 2018, with the open session commencing at 7:00 p.m. As a result, no Board of Education meeting will take place on December 3rd, 2018.
Do I have a motion?
Second, motion, whatever.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Deb Tabush, 15.2 Ed Services.
What, you want to go through the whole piece, though, and then just pull that one so she can talk?
Okay, we can do it that way. Would that be better? Sure. Give us a moment, Deb. All right, let's go into the consent agenda. Mr. Lee, you're famous for this.
Well, I mean, there's one other one, Mrs. Reagan's. Weren't you going to pull?
16.4. And Ms. Tabush wants to pull 15.2. So,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve everything but those 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, and 18.
do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's start with 15.2. Ms. Tabush.
Hi, good evening. Deb Tabush, TTA President. I'm just wondering if you could explain that 15.2 and what it means in regards to data that's going to El Camino and exactly the idea behind it.
I can try.
Awesome.
About 10 to 12 years ago, the state, when we were in the throes of our recession, the state developed a data sharing program called CalPass. And at that time, it was meant to be able to track student progress so that we could see students going on to college and whether there was a career paths in high school and how those were followed in college to be able to come back and better, to inform both the university and the school districts. At that time, Torrance did not have the manpower to go into an MOU or a memorandum of understanding and have the CalPass functioning. Throughout the last 6-7 years, we have had the CalPass system operational. So it's a statewide data sharing system that allows the universities to see how well kids are doing. A lot of data, so this is an MOU strictly for El Camino College, but CalPass is a university, school district data sharing program. When you hear things like how well a big interest right now is freshman retention at the university level. And they do a lot of studying on how well kids did, GPA, SAT, ACT, what are the kind of indicators so that can help colleges and universities, including El Camino, retain freshmen. When kids can make it through their freshman year, then the statistics go up that they complete, their next career path. So this then is then a specific MOU with El Camino College that kind of formalizes that, and that we will have conversation back and forth with them. As you may not know, there's a local ed code changes that are redoing how students go into community college. Many of you who've started through the college, community college track may be very familiar with going and taking a lot of placement exams. Placement exams are now gone, and it is open access. So students can can enroll in the college course, and specifically in math and English language arts, that gives them college credit and not have to take 3 years of math retention classes that the data was showing then when they had to take a year or two lower, they never got out. So a lot of this is solidifying that MOU so they can help counsel students as well.
And so does data come back to our district?
Data will come back to our district to let us know how we're doing. We get it at a district level and then by school.
And then is it shared out at the school? I mean, how is that information then shared out to either teachers or the public or anybody sitting at this meeting?
We can certainly bring that back. It's because the new rule has been in its infancy, the information that we give back, we annually get some information. It's usually a few years old. And then the high school principals bring that back and works with their administrators and their counselors. Happy if there's an interest to put together some kind of a report. It would only be with El Camino, that data coming back, at this point.
It might be interesting to see if
sure.
that happens. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of 15?
Did we have a motion? No. You did move to
Oh,
approve?
you need a motion for?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving to 16.4? Mrs. Reagan?
Yes, that was me. Actually, this item has to do with the appointment of the Classified Employee Organization's nominee to the Personnel Commission. And I wanted to mention it and give a little bit of information, because a lot of folks may not know this about our Personnel Commissioners, that 3 members of the Torrance Unified School District Personnel Commission serve staggered 3-year terms of office that expire on the first day of December. The terms are scheduled so that only one commissioner expires each year. One member of the Personnel Commission is appointed by the Board of Education, by us. One member is appointed by the CSEA Chapter 845 Classified Employee Organization, which is the individual we'll be talking about this evening, and the third member is appointed by the other 2 members of the commission. So there's 3 members, and this is one of the 3 that is whose term is expiring on December 1st. And CSEA Chapter 845 has notified us and that it has nominated Terry Fury, who happens to be here, is why I'm bringing it up, to another 30-year term as the Classified Employee Organization representative. And I just wanted to recognize Terry and say thank you for continuing to do that, and we welcome your ongoing involvement.
Please,
Come on.
Come on down.
So I am honored to be reappointed as the labor representative to the Personnel Commission, specifically by CSEA's Chapter 845, the Torrance Student Support Staff. So they are the largest classified union in the district, and that is why they get to appoint. As a strong proponent of the merit system, I am proud to be a Personnel Commissioner. And if anybody would like to learn more about the merit system, what we aspire to uphold, or what the Personnel Commission does for work, I'd be happy to talk to anybody about it. So, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So is the mayor taking you out to dinner?
So,
Oh, okay.
so having said that, I move to approve the appointment of Terry Fury.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, that puts us through the consent agenda. 19.1, there's a board calendar with lots of good information on it. Moving to comments from members of the Board of Education, there has not been a meeting for SoCal Rock. Comments for other members of the board?
Mr. President, I do have a comment.
Maybe we don't want to hear it.
You might not.
He's got a hammer in his hand.
Might be more than a comment.
It is the tradition in our district for the outgoing president to receive a gavel. Mrs. Reagan saves everyone and uses them, so just so you know that. So, Mr. Wormers, to commemorate your year as president, I have the memorialized gavel.
Yay.
Memorialized.
You can use it at home to call things to order, Michael.
I would need 3. I have 3. Thank you very much. It's been an honor, Dr. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, back to comments from members of the board. Let's start with Mrs. Reagan's.
Thank you. Actually, I do want to recognize some classified employee anniversaries that we have this month. For 10 years of accredited service, we have Amy Kuwayama and Christopher Lasky and Nadia Roca and Karen Troutman. Wow, Karen's been around that long. And that's 10 years. For 15 years of accredited service, we have Carl Flamholtz and Lavina Stewart. And for 20 years of accredited service, these folks have been serving our students and our schools for a long time, is Razia Khan and Machiko Kunibe. And thank you folks for being there with our kids and keeping our schools running. And for those of you who are here tonight, we appreciate you too. Thank you.
Mrs. Deutsch. No comments? Mr. Stuffin? No comments? Mr. Lee?
You know what? Went to the ID Ashcraft just got nominated.
Can you turn on the?
Nominated for the, what is the name of the group?
The County Committee on Organization.
Reorganization. And so I just would like to say publicly, congratulations to her. She'll be representing us on that committee, which is why I wasn't here last meeting.
Very good. Very good. Mr. Lee? Nothing?
Nothing.
Then allow me. About 7 or 8 years ago, I began to push on something that we've affectionately began to call this last year the calendar change. And I'm bringing that up because there are 1,100 school districts, approximately less than 10 started like we used to before Labor Day. And the reason I'm bringing this whole mess up now is because next year, when you guys all start your school year on August 26th, I'll be celebrating, not because we started the year early, it's my birthday, which I thought was really ironic that my birthday fell on the calendar change. So everyone who's starting August 26th next year, I'll be thinking about you while I have my birthday cake. So motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.